Yeah. Straight up. Dang, it's blinding. But yeah, we gonna get it to a little weekly outlook right here. Nothing crazy tight. Nothing crazy tight. It makes me look freaking pale, bro. Oy. Oy. But let's dive straight into it. So, as y'all know, last week was pretty fire. Ended up being up like 2.5, 3R on the week. And as I said, it's because sometimes we have small winners, sometimes we have full size losers most of the time, and then small winners because we either, at least last week, I took a lot of break evens that ended up being good. Like I'm like, you know what, price looks like it's gonna reverse. So I closed and then what do you know, ended up reversing, so secured some profits. All we need is just a week or 2 or 3 with some nice big winners. And yeah, we'll be taking my bread from the accounts, from all the apexes, and we're still trading all the lucid, so yeah, not worried about that. But that being said, let's dive straight into it. Boom, new week opening gap here, ES and Q. Have that open, trading a little bit higher, a little bit lower on each, but nothing too crazy here. Brother. But yeah, honestly, not seeing too much movement here in Asia. So that's interesting. Could be a potential indication for what the week has to hold. Let me just extend this, and then we'll dive into actual structure. Boom. All right. So starting on the weekly, gonna do our top-down analysis, see what's up. Last week, boom, finally broke out of this freaking range that we've been in since, when did we start? Since September of last year. So boom, we finally broke down and out, swept out the lowest sell side liquidity level residing in these weekly lows right here. Boom, got swept yesterday or last week's huge candle. Same exact thing on ES, no SMT. All the sell side liquidity levels are swept. What I see right now, obviously, weekly bullish fair value gap that we just tapped down into. Gonna see what that wants to do. This is obviously going to be a much higher time frame PD array. Not even gonna be concerned with this. Boom, copy that. Have the same fair value gap over here on ES. Yeah, looks like we're inside of it right now. Again, we could want to trade lower, mitigate. We're just gonna see what the week has in store. Let's see how big it is. That's one candle worth of action. So yeah, weekly is obviously bearish. Do we have any higher time frame SMT? I wouldn't say so, but I'm really not concerned because there's probably stuff on the internal. Looking here, the next clear draw on a low would be this weekly low here. That is at the base of the candle that created the large 1 minute weekly fair value gap. So boom, can mark that out. We could have this as like our very, very higher time frame draw on liquidity, just because it's going to be pretty far from where we're right now, probably about 900 points. 900 points exactly. But yeah, weekly's looking really bearish. We have a weekly bearish volume imbalance here, and look at it up here. All these bearish volume imbalance have been holding, so you may want to keep an eye on that, see if we come back up to there, trade that, see how it's treated. But yeah, let's drop down to the daily here. Boom, swept sell side liquidity. Had a pretty nice sell-off on Friday. Whew, a big sell-off Friday, 750 points. Capitalized a good bit, took what we were confident in, and took what the model said to take. So boom, freaking happy with that. Daily here, swept out lows, tapping into this weekly daily bullish fair value gap. Next clear draw on sell side liquidity is this low, so we're going to see how this weekly bullish gets treated. Again, we could want to dump off early and then come back up and end up respecting the weekly. So coming into Monday, really going to have no expectations and not even have too preconceived of a bias, just knowing that the higher time frame is very clearly bearish. But past 2 daily candles have been very strong. Over 1,000 points of movement, so that's good to see. A lot of volatility in the marketplace. Boom, boom, boom. Sell side liquidity swept. 4 hours looking very bearish here. Not even a retracement up to this small gap here. Boom, we finally flipped this huge 4-hour candle that happened on Monday. And kind of completely the opposite this week. We're incredibly bearish. And yeah, as I said, we have our sell side liquidity draws lower. Really nothing else. Now what I'm looking for is just internal structure, how that forms, how that looks. As you can see, 4 hour here, loads of 4 hour bearish imbalances we may want to retrace to. And then zooming in, we have that new week opening gap right here, very small, but I am going to keep it marked out. But just keep in mind with how big these ranges are, the new week opening gap isn't going to act as too much of a confluence this week. So keep that in mind. Nearest internal buy side liquidity level, I see a boom right here. Residing internal buy side from Friday. What time? 9 a.m. Same thing on ES. We're looking pretty correlated on ES and Q, not too much SMT. So that's good for potential setups. Zooming out even more again. Yeah, man. Have that new week opening gap, just filled it a little. Haven't tapped it yet on ES, so that could act as a draw. And yeah, we have small internal areas of liquidity here residing. Boom, 15-minute high. 15-minute high on ES. I do like how we're moving together. That's a good sign, good indication. But yeah, really don't care. As y'all know, if you watch the videos, the Sunday videos, I never go too crazy with the weekly outlook, just because overnight session hasn't even happened and London session hasn't even happened, and it's been a whole weekend off. But what we can do, dive over to news. Monday we got 10:30 PAL, so that'll actually be interesting. Let me mark that out. Definitely want to bear that in mind. Could be extremely high impact. Tuesday, 10 a.m. JOLTS, and then Wednesday, 10 a.m. manufacturing PMI. Thursday, and then Friday, NFP. So, yeah. Don't think we're going to be doing anything with the accounts. I think we're just going to be slowly trading them up how we have been. And then just as they each get to that $2,000 above the requirement, we'll take 2K from each, man. So, yeah. Just gonna slowly chip away from it. Boom, this one's 1,150 away. This one's 1,375 away. This one's 1,432 away. This one's 1,000. My brain's not working. 1,620 away. This one's 1,400 away. And this one is about $1,184 away. So all it takes is a good week and a half probably. Pop over to the trade path, see what's up. Good week and a half. But again, if it takes longer, it takes longer. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna live in the moment. Had a great week last week. This loss should have been 250. But yeah, man. Just freaking living in the moment, focusing on what's happening. If I see a great setup, I take it with good risk, and then we go from there, brother. But that's all I got for right now. I'm going to keep slowly chipping away at the Lucids. Literally all I have to think about is trading those, and then before I know it, Apexes will be ready for a payout, and then after that, Lucids will be live, and boom, that's freaking 20K a month, boy. So yeah, that's all I got for today. Appreciate y'all for watching. Let's have a good week. Let's scale up, baby.